Officially, a very big welcome to all of you who've managed to join us live for the 12/12 Gap Day portal. There's been a lot of talk about this being the final portal of the year. Well, of course, we still are going to head up to and through the solstice. But it is a really significant, energetic day. And of course, we have this beautiful um, parallel or this synergy of the portal overlaying a gap day. So we have the amplification of the portal energies. And there's a huge amount of talk about releasing ancient energies, about resurrection through this portal as we move into 2018. Astrologically, that message is very, very clear and very refined. So today, with the Gap Day, we have an opportunity for really deep healing because, of course, we are also still in Mercury retrograde, which is a healing gift and a healing opportunity. So if we have a look at the signature energies and the signature frequencies of the Gap Day, it is really a great support and assistance through this portal day itself, the 12/12 portal. But massive. I just find the synchronicities quite amazing because I think I mentioned on the web page itself that I was so drawn to communicating with the yew tree when I was in Scotland 6 weeks ago, thereabouts, and wanting to actually make an essence from the yew tree. And I didn't know a lot about it. I just knew that that was the oldest yew uh, that people are aware of in the UK. And it was only afterwards I've started coming upon a lot of information, A, about the yew and about the really deep meaning and understanding of the yew, but also how that is linked with the entire theme of resurrection from an astrological and an energetic perspective at the moment. Also, this accessing what lies within our ancient soul, which are the gifts to bring forward and what needs to be released in order for us to resurrect and evolve, if you like, our soul beingness and our essence, to really resurrect ourselves through the physical body in order to express yet more and more of the expansiveness of our soul. So it's a really, really powerful, synergistic time all round. Beautiful diamond times. And yeah, I'm not saying it's going to be easy for the times ahead, but I think the more work that we've done, the more we will be able to streamline and flow. So, Blue Galactic Night is the galactic activation portal at this moment in time. Um, and it is Kin 203. It's in the wave spell of the Yellow Warrior. Which is about mental illumination, sort of strategizing, planning, and all of those sort of left brain things. But there's a huge element of balance through this Gap Day portal, if you like, and a huge opportunity to use our intuitive self to guide us into the healing places or the places within that actually require and will support our healing. So there's some really nice information about the essence of the Gap Day today. And the integrity of abundance is the integrity of how we receive abundance in order to support and fuel our missions on this earthly plane, for want of a better description, for want of better words. This is taken from that wording, if you like, is actually taken from timewaves.org, which is a different website, a different resource that I found at the moment. And it's about the incorporation of that understanding of abundance into all elements of life. It's less about the me, and even spiritual materialism. You know, it's a continuation of the theme almost that I wrote about in the last newsletter, that we see an incredible amount of spiritual materialism. Um, where it's okay to charge over the top and look at me, I'm just so abundant, therefore I'm successful and I've learned how to master energy, when the truth of the matter is that the more we are able to master energy, the less we actually need, because we know that we can manifest exactly what we need when it's needed. So it becomes a just-in-time process, and that is the aspect of mastery. It is less about accumulation and more about being in the flow and being able to manifest. And this is part of the balance of the healing with the integrity of abundance, the signature of this day. So I do love how things have flowed, sort of that guidance in November through the 1111 portal, how that guidance has come together and flowed into today's signature energy and essence as well. So the affirmation for the day for today is I harmonize in order to dream, modeling intuition. I seal the input of abundance with the galactic tone of integrity. I am guided by the power of accomplishment. I'm a galactic activation portal into me. And that the words actually speak to that balance between the feminine and the masculine, the intuitive, the dreaming, and the input of abundance through the imagining with the tone of integrity, which asks us to evaluate why and how certain things are needed. Oh, hold on, I've just got a message on my computer telling me to close programs to prevent information loss. Okay, I'm going to hope that says my computer's a bit low on memory, so I'm just going to trust that it will see us through this particular session. So you can see anyway how this affirmation balances the masculine and feminine aspects of our being. Accomplishment is an action, it's an external manifestation that is achieved through our actions in the external world, and as such it's a representation of the masculine energy. So we have this absolute balance. And even here with the glyphs, we actually have the night. This is the blue galactic night, which is deeply feminine. It takes us into the darkness. This is the warrior. The warrior is a solar energy. This is the Skywalker or the adventurer, the cosmic connection. This is the blue hand of healing. So these are both generally feminine energies. These would tend to be more masculine. And here you have the neutral reflector, which is the mirror, the white mirror. So we have a beautiful balance of energies, and we also have the tone 8 and tone number 8. Tone 8 is about abundance, being able to manifest what we need when we need it and be in that flow. Dance with the energy. So let's have a look at some of the insight that has been provided in respect of the Blue Galactic Night. So today's energies integrate the mission that we are on, modeling the dream, being guided to integrate the accomplishments of aligning our minds to the abundance that this earth offers us. So there's very earthy context and concepts as well around this. It's like Mother Earth is able to provide everything that we actually need. Why do we desire or want more than that? Unlimited in our capacity to heal any limiting thoughts by allowing our limbic brain's connection to resource of the earth and how to receive them, the resources of the earth and how to receive them. This is unlimited through allowing the deep intuition that is connected to the planetary dream held in the iron crystal core of Mother Gaia. She wants us to have all of our needs met in order to fearlessly be focused on our mission. And how often do we get distracted from our soul's journey on this path because of our dalliance and distractions by, and how we get pulled back into some of those programs that drag us into the earthly needs, desires, wants, shoulds, should have, all of that languaging. And so often this actually does happen, no matter how advanced we are, we still find that that happens from time to time. It is not through our external efforts alone that our needs are met. It requires a deep internal healing of allowing the feminine brain to be free to receive. Yet we must act, and we will be shown by the action of our inner knowing which actions support our abundance, allowing the integration of the dream, the integration of our mission. So everything becomes a finely balanced walk and journey through life. And we know that, we've discussed these things before, but it is that finely balanced tightrope in respect of being guided in every moment to the action, to the place, to uh, bringing something into manifestation that is absolutely supporting the manifestation of our soul's mission upon Mother Earth. And all of that is done when that is so finely tuned and balanced. It is done always in such a way that no harm be done to the planet herself. That it is done in partnership with Gaia. So it is part of our responsibility to resurrect that balance, to entrench and program that balance into the grids of Gaia, that become, it's a ninth wave principle, that become one of the guiding principles of the new earth that is unfolding. It's a journey. From here on, in all our actions, we must integrate the model of healing and abundance for our earth and all beings with whole systems. So it's really bearing that in mind rather than just our personal needs. So it always will be and always is about the abundance of the entire system, the whole system. So today's support is the yellow galactic warrior. So just go back to this glyph for a moment. This is the yellow galactic warrior. So this is our support for the day. And this is about integrating the flow of pure consciousness through questioning intelligently all that impedes the flow, and to be guided by independent, illumined thought. And so often, what we might think of as independent, illumined thought is nothing more than a regurgitation of what is already in the collective. So how independent are our thoughts really? And even when we begin to question that, that is a step in the right direction. It's kind of one of those almost paradoxes. um, we learn through this, and we guided through the warrior to model the light of intelligence to purify all that requires it. Now, that's a beautiful expression. It's to be the light of the supreme cosmic divine creator intelligence in order to purify everything that requires that light to be shone upon it. So it's the Yellow Galactic Warrior is a very powerful ally at this particular moment in time, and for this healing as we draw in the light of the cosmic divine intelligence. Today's challenge that strengthens us is the Red Galactic Skywalker. So we go back here. This is the challenge. This is the Red Galactic Skywalker. Um, and this energy, in essence, is about integrating our capacity to speak important messages in the right moment to enable people to walk through the initiatory door from one world into another. And it's really important. And I think that's it speaks to and about the deepening of our ability to discern when it is appropriate and when not. And we're all busy finding our voices. And I think the challenge in this is when we find our voice, we just want to speak it everywhere and in every moment. And it's like, I don't care, I'm just going to voice my opinion. However, this is really talking about developing the discernment to know when it is appropriate to use our voice. When is it appropriate to speak up? And when is it appropriate to actually hold our counsel? because it is through the right action, the right communication at the right time, the right information with the right energy, that we enable and facilitate the purification of that light that we were talking about to illuminate that initiatory door for other people. So it's a really, really powerful combination here. Oh, isn't that lovely? Natalie says, I just wrote this awareness in my journal this morning. Oh, now you see how perfect that is. Isn't that just absolutely wonderful? Because that confirms for you, I think this is beautiful. It's a confirmation of your attunement to the galactic and the cosmic energetic signatures. So that's a really powerful insight. Yeah, beautiful. Beautiful. And that to me is also why doing this is really so important, because it supports you in validating yourself. It's not that I am validating anybody. It's that I do what I'm guided to do and access the information that is important and needed. And that through the diamond grid and through this journey and this process provides you with what is needed in order to support your expansion of worth and validation of self. So really, really beautiful combination. Um, okay. The hidden gift of this day. Hello, I'm back. I was just looking at your comments in the chat room. That was just so funny. Last word today, and then I disappeared. Love you. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so yeah, my computer actually did decide to close everything down, so I've just left everything else closed and reopened the browser. Okay, so the hidden gift of the day, which you, which, yeah, back from my long bungee jump. Thanks, Elaine. The hidden gift of the day is the rhythmic mirror. And that going back to here, as pointed out earlier, this is the rhythmic mirror. Okay. This is to organize the physical reality for perfect balance, reflecting the endless order that is required to receive and act upon the intuitive pulses received in order to allow for expansion. So here we go, the expansion, the resurrection, to have our inner temples in order, to place the right elements in the right places, to encourage our physical temples to allow the receptivity of the healing intuition. Isn't this just beautiful? The healing intuition shows us how to place our temples to allow for maximum fearless expansion. When all is in order, we are ready to receive the greatest gifts. So this really is about the healing to put our internal house in order. What have we been holding on to? You know, Elizabeth Peru has also spoken about just recently releasing ancient energy. So we really want to clear out all of the ancient stuff that we've been holding on to for far too long. Let's do another, sort of release, peeling back the layers, stripping away, so that we can also discern from that what our gifts are, what needs to be let go of, so that we can actually access the worthiness and the worth of our warrior, our internal warrior, that yellow galactic warrior. Because I think we all harbor and hold on to wounded heroes within us, if you like. So it's really healing the wounded hero in one aspect of ourselves, because when we have that internal feeling of worth and value, then we are able to fearlessly act upon the impulses and the intuitive um, hits. Okay, Hans just said creeping in quietly, connection kept dropping. Hi, and lovely to see you. Yeah, so it's sort of healing the wounded warrior, because that warrior stands up. And a lot of the time, our inner hero, our inner warrior is also weary. That archetypal essence and energy is weary of the ancient battles that have been fought, of the ancient guarding us against perceived evils and all of the negativity that's been in our environment. So our inner warriors worked hard for many millennia and lifetimes. So it's time to soften and heal, so that we can begin to receive and be worthy of receiving the abundance that is ours. So there's a huge element of discernment, balance, healing, and abundance through this particular portal and day, so that we can resurrect yet more of our light-filled true selves. Okay, so the animal, as I mentioned to you guys earlier, that is going to support us today is the white squirrel. So the white squirrel, the overall energy of the white squirrel is about vitality and energy, having energy to do all of those things. So how many of you have actually felt this year almost a lack of energy for those impulses, because it's been um, really intensely about stripping back, peeling back this year. So it's been fatiguing in many ways. And also, with these sleep disruptions and not getting a good night's sleep. So Squirrel is about helping us to reorganize our inner temple, our inner space, so that we can renew and revitalize our energy. You didn't know the white squirrel existed? Oh my goodness. Yeah, they do. Beautiful, pure. Again, it's part of the sacred white animals profile. The white squirrels are another one of the manifestations of the white animals. Very unusual, and they are becoming, and they have become a bit more common than what they were. Um, my friend in Salt Lake City that I was with in September actually had a white squirrel living on her roof. Beautiful. Okay, so it's about play. So you can see why that picture in the beginning that I used on the introduction slide was also one that I was actually drawn to, because it is about a playful energy. It's about being able to flow, to dance, to play with those energies in order to be able to manifest and create. It is also, squirrel energy is also about prudence. So it's about knowing when to hold back. So it's not always about expending our energy, it's balancing that expansion with the contraction. It's balancing the external manifestation with the holding back. It's balancing the outflow with the inflow, and ensuring that, sort of, if there are times when we need to be prudent with our resources, whatever those resources may be, there may be energetic resources, there may be financial resources, there will be times when we will get the clear messages to be prudent with those because it is appropriate. And I've been through lots of cycles like this. It took me quite a while to actually learn this because for me, it's always been a case of, I'll go with the flow. And when the resources are there, then I'll just get them moving out. But it's always been a case of when that flow has been exceptionally abundant, there's always been a little niggling voice that said to me, like, put a little bit away. And then I think, oh, no, it's fine because everything's actually manifesting exactly when I need it, and so on and so forth. And then things would actually drop off for 2 months, and then I would realize why I actually needed to just hold on to what I had for that little period of time without fear. It's not about fear, it's about listening to the voice and listening to the guidance so we know when to be prudent and when to actually allow it to flow. So, yeah, that balance. It's about socializing, making sure that we balance our internal work with socializing, and knowing when also to expend our energy externally with others and when to retreat within, and take care of our own resourcefulness. Preparation, sort of preparing for what you might ask, when we are in total trust, do we need to prepare? Well, there again, it depends on the intuitive guidance, and we are moving through very tumultuous times, and chaotic, energetic times. So we do need to be aware of what is required in order to sort of make those preparations to transition through these particular times, and about managing and balancing our resourcefulness. None of it is about fear. There is a beautiful, playful energy. One thing I didn't know about squirrels, which you guys might also find interesting, is that the squirrel continually puts away. So it is this balance between hoarding too much and holding on too much, or holding on to too much stuff or whatever it might be, and understanding the flow, if you like, and the flow of life, the flow of nature. This is really interesting. Is that the squirrel only finds 10% of what it has actually stowed away. So it hoards, sort of in the build up to winter. It's continually hoarding its nuts and its seeds and everything else, that it only ever finds 10% of what it's stowed away. And in the meantime, it's actually buried stuff in the soil and hidden stuff within tree trunks and under leaves and wherever it might be, so it hides a lot of the stuff away. And it's the understanding that so much of that stuff that has been hidden away is actually ripe for germination. So the squirrel also enables and facilitates the cycles of life and the regrowth, even with some of the stuff that has actually been squirreled away. It's like, well, where has it been squirreled away? In nature, it is a perfect, what's the word? It's a perfect environment, if you like, for that squirreling away. And things are still useful even where they are, and they serve the growth and the cyclical continuation of the natural environment. Within ourselves, if we squirrel things away, they often end up laying dormant and become absolutely useless. So I think the question is, of the 90% that we have put away or stowed away, and this is where squirrel's going to help us, what is that 90% ripe for? What is the new forest? What is the new growth that will come from just locating some of those resources that we have tucked away inside of us over eons, ancient resources also. that are part of our soul expansion so that we can prepare the ground for new forests and new growth. Yeah. So it's a very interesting time, and it means that we are. Elaine's put a comment here, which is this is difficult for post-depression offspring. It is because we inherit those behavioral patterns and beliefs from our ancestors. Those are actually passed down. There's been a lot of work done on Holocaust survivors and children of trauma victims and so on in respect of how those beliefs and patterns are actually communicated through generations. So, but it's our job. This is our job, because as we do this and we resolve those patterns, as difficult as it is, we're ahead of the curve. That's part of our mission. We actually begin to heal the ripple through the collective DNA, so that others naturally begin to flow into a more balanced state and a greater understanding. And it's part of that hundredth monkey syndrome. We are continually building that up, and it helps others always. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to have a look within our own internal space for the other 90% that has been squirreled away, and White Squirrel's going to help us to find it. And then the light code, obviously, with today being about abundance in all ways and for all people, is the prosperity light code. And this is obviously the new revamped version of the prosperity light code. And to me, this is just, it's fiery, it's alive. And by the way, for those of you who are on the call, the new light codes are now at the printers. So they are actually this new set with all of the new diamond, the resurrected light codes. There you go. There's that word. They're resurrected light codes. So yes, they will be ready to ship in a day or two, and they all are they've just come alive with the new diamonds. So we're going to work with the new prosperity light code so that we can support the grounding, the earthing, the bringing into manifestation. Yeah, it does. Everything looks lit up, doesn't it? So they're just really, really beautiful and super energized. So, how are you guys? Are you guys ready to go into the process? Are there any comments, any more questions, any more insights in respect of where we are at the moment? I just think this is also appropriate given where we are at with the season. We're between Thanksgiving and the Yuletide, and it is a season that is focused on kindness and generosity of spirit. It's preparing for the new year, preparing for the new. It's about family. It is about forgiveness. It is about accessing our inner resources in order to see us through the season. It is about acknowledging and being grateful for the prosperity that we actually do have in our lives, and about ensuring that what we have is shared. So there is a huge element of distributing and sharing um, that essence and energy through this portal as well. So I just think it's a very powerfully placed energy for the healing. Elaine says the reddish circle looks like our sun that is sending new energy. Yeah. You can look at it. You can actually look at it two ways. So I'll tell you how I actually connect with this code, is that we have these sort of wavy feminine forms of just energy being delivered, the waves, like the ninth wave energy kind of thing, actually being delivered, that we harness through our diamond. They delivered through the collective diamond grid, and that these linear lines actually support the creation in form. So even the colors actually have um, provide insight for us in respect of the light codes. So this is orange, which is about creativity and productivity. The black is about earthiness and groundedness. So it really is about manifesting and creating, bringing in that information and manifesting it into physical form, being able to anchor it to the, if you like, the red iron core of the planet. So there's many, many layers within these light codes, like a pearl of knowledge inside the diamond. Yeah. So that's how I actually see and work with the essence and the energy of this particular code. And I must just tell you, there was a beautiful story. If you don't mind me sharing this quickly, there's a beautiful story of another friend of mine who has been closely connected with the diamond since it was birthed, and certainly with the light codes as well. And there was one day she'd been working with this particular light code herself, and she'd sort of been standing on it and breathing it in and visualizing it and all of that. And then she had a client in the afternoon, and this particular client was pretty sensitive with her clairvoyant vision. And the client said to her, "What are those? I'm seeing some funny shapes in your energy field." So Morag said to her, "Describe them to me." And she got a piece. She said, "I don't know if I can describe it." We got a piece of paper, and she gave her a piece of paper, and she drew it. And what she drew was actually this light code, and that to me was just absolutely the same. A similar thing has happened to me with a different light code before. So these really and truly are the most amazing living consciousness geometries and packets of information in many ways. So yeah, atom and frequency. So there's probably there are many ways that we can relate to it, but that was a story from Morag in respect of her client that saw this in her energy field. So really amazing. Okay, so if you guys are ready, let's move into the process. Okay, let's just see Anne's typing. Okay, all right. So make yourselves comfortable, everybody. And with feet flat on the floor and arms resting loosely on your thighs, relax your shoulders. Close your eyes gently and begin by taking a long, slow, deep breath in. And as you breathe out, allow your being and your body to surrender and relax into this moment, into this portal, this vortex, this gift of cosmic energy. As you breathe in and out, with each in breath and out breath, your body relaxes upon the surface of the chair, wherever you're sitting, lying down. And your senses expand to take in everything in this moment. Your awareness becomes sharp and clear. Just for a few moments, sit with this and allow yourself to take in and be aware of everything within your environment. For all of your senses will be engaged with the healing process. Activate them all as you connect with your hearing, your inner vision, the taste within your mouth, the taste of the air, any fragrances in your environment, the feel and the touch of the gentlest movement of air over your fingers or across your face. any sensations of heat or cold. Allow your body to savor and appreciate all of the sensations that you are aware of. For it is an indication that you are fully alive, present, and animated, connected with this moment. And be appreciative of your physical body. For it is only through the physical form and structure of your being that you are able to experience these senses and sensations. Thank you, body, for being my temple of experience. And now create your diamond around you, such that it is anchored at the base of your spine, reaching up to the soul star above your head and the earth star below your feet, extending equally in all directions. And all that you are aware of with your physical senses gradually begins to simply filter out and fade as you connect through your diamond with the consciousness and the essence of your soul beingness. And your attention turns to the depths of your unconscious within. So the energy simply drops down from your conscious mind into your body, into the spaces between the cells, beyond that into the spaces between the atoms and the molecules that make up all of your cells, into the dark of the abundant night. Be aware of your beingness within expanding the more deeply you surrender and let go into this place within you. Within you is the energy and enough power to seed a universe. Within this darkness, be aware of the background, unseen hum of that power, of the fullness and yet the seeming emptiness of the space. The more you concentrate and allow yourself to surrender into this night, this darkness, the more those bonds between the atoms and molecules expand and open. And this is necessary in order for the healing and reconfiguration and ultimate resurrection to take place. This breaking of chemical bonds is an aspect of the reprogramming of your physical form, the releasing of the binds of ancient beliefs. Just be aware of that expansion within and beyond the boundaries of your skin, stretching, opening, allowing. And from within this deep void, you now call forth the manifestation or the form of the sacred white squirrel to be our guardian and guide for this process, for this journey, for this healing. And he appears. Take note of the size of your particular squirrel, whether you have one or many. Note how luminous the white squirrel appears to you, how the light from within him shines through the eyes, the deep, dark depths of his eyes or her eyes. Reach out your hand and touch and feel the softness of the hair of this beautiful white squirrel. Allow your squirrel to dance and frolic around you. And as he does, he begins to excite the energies within this void into manifestation. And what is created in front of you in partnership with Squirrel is an ancient, ancient forest. And the manifestation comes from the elements and aspects of your own being, the universe that lives within you. Be aware of how your forest feels as you stand on the outside ready to enter this amazing ancient woodland that has sprung up in front of you. Be aware of how you feel, what you hear, what you see, what you sense, what you taste. And White Squirrel now guides you into this forest which is yours. What kind of trees are present in your forest? How much sunlight filters through? How many glades? How closely packed are the trees together within your forest? What other animals or life forms do you find within your ancient forest? What about the elementals? Do you see them, feel them, sense them? And birds, how many birds do you have living in the treetops of the ancient canopy of your forest? Just allow yourself for a few moments to explore this which is yours and an aspect of you. And in this forest over lifetimes, you have squirreled away multiple resources that perhaps were useful at one time but lost their function and purpose in another. Tools that you may have been given far in advance of your ability to use them. Gifts that seemed inappropriate or you were afraid of working with. All of these resources that you have squirreled away within your forest. You currently stand using only 10% of your full capability and capacity. And yet, there is 90% more that has been hidden away, locked away. Allow the white squirrel to now take you through your forest. I'm going to leave you in the space for a couple of minutes again. For white squirrel is going to lead you to the places within your forest where many of the resources have been hidden, tucked away into crevices, under piles of leaves, in nests, or in unusual places. And he's going to take you on a journey to gather up all of those resources so that we can review what is useful, what is outdated, and what requires reseeding. So spend some time now with Squirrel. Be aware while you are wandering around your forest with squirrel of how much fun this is, playing hide and seek with aspects of yourself. And notice in certain places that squirrel may leap up to the top canopy of one of the trees. For when you hid away one of your resources, that tree was but a seedling itself. And now you can't reach up to its canopy. But squirrel happily reaches up and helps you to find all of those hidden resources. Play and have fun as you look at the growing pile in the center of your amazing forest, all that is being retrieved. And you begin to sift through this pile of retrieved resources, gifts, and aspects and elements. But there will be many within this collection, this ancient collection, that have no value at this moment in time other than to serve as alchemical sparks or fuel for the nourishing process and for igniting other elements and aspects. So begin to separate your pile into two. Those items, resources that show you have the potential to expand into your resurrected soul essence, to support the alchemical resurrection of the fullness and the wholeness of you. And then the other items that will serve as fuel for this process. So everything that is collected has purpose. And you separate them into two piles. And you take the redundant item pile, and just to the right of you is a small clearing within the forest through which the sun shines through brightly. And you are aware of the warmth as you step into this clearing with your pile of redundant resources. And you look around and you find a magnifying glass. And it's as if the light of the great central sun shines through your soul star into your diamond, illuminating this spot within the forest. And you hold up the magnifying glass so that it amplifies the rays of the sun onto this pile of debris, old, ancient patterning, cast aside. And you hold and focus the sun's rays until they catch a light, and a fire burns within you in this spot in the forest. And in the reduction of this pile of items to the ashes, they provide the nutrients to be worked into the soil of the forest for the planting of the new, recycled, rediscovered gifts. So once the fire has completely consumed this debris, and you are left with a pile of cooling ash, gently work this ash into the soil of the forest. And choose now from a pile of powerful potential resources as you plant your chosen items into this carefully prepared soil within your forest. And you are aware that there are other items of nourishment required in order to feed and fuel the growth of these newly buried treasures, in order to nourish and nurture the soil within which they have been planted, awaiting their expansion. And you look around for the resources to add the nutrients to the soil. And your attention is brought to another clearing within the forest. And in the clearing is a chest. And you move slowly over to the chest and you flip it open, and what pops out is a three-dimensional energy form, the light code that we may know as prosperity, but it is manifesting as a three-dimensional structure and form of pure light of varying frequencies. And the squirrel squeals in delight and dances around the code as it flows and moves from side to side. And the code itself supports the manifestation of universal frequencies along the lines of what is needed for abundance with integrity, for abundant growth, abundant manifestation. And the waves that reach down towards the code, you follow them through and out into the vastness of the void of the universe, way beyond your forest. And those tendrils or waves of coppery colored energy connect with resources and items sparking into life from the void itself, from the Creator. Gifts of you and for you, manifesting from the depths of your intuitive self. And those waves like tendrils, reach out, curl around these gifts, curl around these nutrients to fuel the alchemical growth and bring them back as sparks of light and energy. And that red sphere that sits at the bottom of the code is anchored into the earth. And one by one, the tendrils of energy drop their gifts into the linear masculine energetic pattern in order for them to be made manifest within the earth. Ultimately, the red sphere representing the core of Mother Earth attracts and brings those items of nurturing and nourishment into manifestation, draws them into the earth, where they move through the grid lines of the forest and reach the items ready to receive that nourishment, ready to germinate, ready to expand. Take a look around at what the elementals in your forest are doing to support this process. Notice how the landscape may be changing even as you bring your personal abundance into manifestation. As your forest changes, so changes your molecular structure within your body. So changes your DNA. Be aware of the ripple effect throughout the entirety of your physical being. As your ancient forest is revived and begins the restoration of that which is ready to be restored. The restoration of the grids through your forest transmit the ancient wisdoms from the trees that have been here since the very beginning of time. The ancient wisdoms infuse your new gifts, the merging of your cosmic nourishment with these gifts that have been stored away, waiting for the appropriate time to be realized. And all of the manifestation is done in accordance with a total harmonic plan, with integrity, with cognizance for your actions, in accordance with and in harmony with all of life and Mother Earth. Be aware of the expansion taking place within you. And yet within that expansion is a solidness, a surety, a knowingness, a strength. And from this ancient temple, this living temple, which is what the forests and woodlands represent for us, is a flow of intuitive impulse and knowingness that is pertinent for your next step at this moment. Allow the fairies and the elementals and the white squirrel to facilitate your access to and your hearing connection with this impulse. Take a look around at your forest as you understand and see what still is required in order to restore and build upon what already exists, what you may be required to do in order to nourish the growth of new life within your forest. And then pledge within this space to fulfill that commitment. For the richer your forest, the richer your flow of abundance that you experience within, providing you with a fullness to replace whatever vacant spots or areas of emptiness may have existed within your experience of life. Allow yourself to become full with the joy, the gratitude, the potential, the love, the nourishment, the nurturing, the playfulness of life within this forest. Allow all of that to emanate throughout the totality of your being and beyond. Be aware of the feeling of completeness within, and the recognition of your ability to manifest all that is needed for you to fulfill your mission upon this planet through this life experience, this life term, this lifetime. And as you breathe in deeply, it is with a knowing and a sense of fullness and wholeness, of worthiness. For there is nothing within this space that indicates that you are unworthy of receiving all that the Divine Mother has to offer or provide. We are in receipt of all of the abundance of the planet as we are in receipt of the abundance of the Divine Creator, Creatrix herself. Utilize the light code to assist you in bringing the unformed into form. The abundance that you so richly deserve to fulfill your mission into being. Your body now becomes a light code. Allow yourself to experience yourself as a magnet for the cosmic flow, the universal abundance, the magic of manifestation. Surrounded by waves, your being permeated with those linear structures, your being and your earth star anchored through that red sphere to the entire body of the earth herself, nurtured by the cosmic mother and support, magnetized by the earth mother. And in your willingness to receive, is an enhancement of your capacity to share and to give. Cast your energy out through the grids of Gaia, the grids of the planet, along with your vision for a new structured manifestation or presentation of abundance. A manifestation of abundance that means abundance for all, that exists in gratitude, that is abundance in all ways, for all life forms. An abundance of water, an abundance of life-supporting elements and minerals, an abundance of health, an abundance of harmonization of communities, an abundance of loving relationships. Allow yourself to be a conduit for these visions of the highest order. As you seed them into and through the earth. Hold your space as you now breathe in deeply and prepare to return slowly to waking consciousness with a deep breath in supreme gratitude for the totality of your being. Deep breath in, feeling worthy, feeling loved, being grateful for the sensations of your environment, for your physicality, for your body. And again, a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, you do so with gratitude for the opportunity to be alive at this moment, at this time, at this period, at this juncture of Earth's transition and humanity's transition. For your purpose is serving not only humanity but the earth herself in this transition. May you be abundant in all ways as you joyfully take the next step forward on your walk through this magical transition. Deep breath in and breathe out. And when you're ready, you can return to waking consciousness and welcome back. So, how are you doing, guys? Are you with us? Or have I left you behind in the forest? I love that. Thanks, Elaine. I'm back with shining ruby slippers on. Oh, isn't that just beautiful? Yeah, it's that shining red magnetic sphere, if you like. I get the real sense of that being pulled, attracting um, all of those wonderful frequencies in. So Cynthia says, your voice called in the angels to join me. The abundance of love was amazing. Oh, beautiful, Cynthia. Oh, isn't that lovely? How did you, just out of interest, how did you guys experience your forest? There's something obviously really significant with the trees at the moment again. But it was. The thing is, the abundance of love was amazing because that is who you are at your core. It's the abundance of love within that forest, that temple. It's the abundance of love that is you ultimately. That's just, yeah, really beautiful. That. Cynthia, I'd rather grow a forest, a living temple, than build a house of conformity. Absolutely. And it is a living temple, and that's also when I look at the actual trees and the forests. That's exactly what I feel, that they are living temples. Elaine says, I went to my star planet first, then to an aspen meadow. Wow, that's beautiful. I love it. That's whatever is really important. The important thing is for you to connect with that. The essence and the energy. Charlotte says, my forest is like giant mega trees. Interesting, the aspen meadow, because of course the aspen, I was actually seeing a lot of that sort of yellow light in the process, which is like the sun. And in fact, the squirrel is a solar energy, the same as the yellow warrior is a solar energy. So there was a lot of that sunlight, that light gold. I was also seeing, like Charlotte was, giant trees. And those giant trees are actually an indication of sort of the ancient nature of your soul. So it's a really, really old soul energy. It's everything that's been accumulated. And it depends on how you feel, sort of, is your forest dark? Was it light? Was there lots of activity in your forest? It can be quite fascinating, the symbolism, to work through the symbolism of how you connect with all of that and how it's presented. So Cynthia says, this was the treasure I'd found with the squirrel. My life is the treasure, and all of you are the nuts growing in my forest. Oh, what a lovely, lovely, beautiful analogy, because it's kind of like saying, well, the resources, we mustn't discount the resources from the people and the relationships that we have in our lives, because in those harmonious relationships we have an incredible amount of love and power and nurturing that comes from them. That's really lovely. So Elaine says, mine was a meadow in spring with yellows and oranges and meadowlarks. That's absolutely beautiful. And that's kind of like, sort of completely open. It's the being in a space, if you like. That's also, I mean, meadows, all of nature is actually a loving, uh, what's the word? Loving, living temple. All of nature is actually a loving, living temple that we can experience. And that openness is kind of like the bonds of the everything holding your physical body together as expanded and opening, and I can just see it allowing in the light, that beautiful sunshine and the light of source with all of those yellows and oranges. So really powerful. It's interesting that the yellows and oranges came through so strongly, because this week the light code's finally going to print. I finally got the light code that we'd been waiting for, which is cycles, indicative of entering a new cycle. And cycles is a light code that is alive with yellows and oranges. Just an interesting add on there, which seems very appropriate. So it is, yeah, that expansion, the ability to expand. Sometimes when our forests are, sort of too rigid, with the trees are in a temple or are in a forest, if it's not alive, how static is it? Is it sort of those ancient trees that are not really supporting any additional life? This is where we start getting into the symbolism of it. Are they static? Was the environment static? Does that mean that we have become bound by some of the ancient beliefs, patterns, and understandings from our heritage, from our past lives, from our ancient soul experiences? So Cynthia says the forest is full of treasure, heart, health, and prosperity. Absolutely. All of nature. Yeah. Your inner forest, your inner temple, is really where that process takes place. Did the rest of you have any experiences with the squirrel and finding stuff? Elaine says, yes, was in the middle of the meadow while my back relaxed onto the earth, while sacred white squirrel combed my hair, calming my monkey mind. That's just really beautiful. Whatever is actually needed is provided. That's really beautiful, because that is kind of restoring balance, which is also what squirrel does. Isn't that lovely? Um, yeah, I love the combing of the hair. That's just really delightful. And he says, I didn't really find any items, just a feeling that the forest was home, and so home was within me. Yes, was just the connection with the trees and the creatures I was seeking, returning to a more simple, unified existence with all of life. Absolutely. Um, and that's really what it is. And it might be interesting to sort of go back again, into that space and have a look at, you know, where there may have been questions around what is my purpose, what is it that I'm meant to be doing, and that kind of stuff, and just see if there's anything that White Squirrel can take you to that will help to clarify that amongst the items and things that have literally been squirreled away in that space. Grooming another is nature's gift to each other. Yes, it absolutely is. Yeah, in that caring, it's beautiful. Simple, unified existence with all of life. That's real ninth wave energy. That's ninth wave community. And a simple existence also does not mean necessarily um, doing without the technologies that we have. It means balancing. Again, everything is actually about balance, and balancing all of that. Okay, guys. Once again, thank you um, for being here, for making this collective just so beautiful a place to share and to be in gratitude for. Um, Elaine says White Squirrel used his tail. Ah, that's wonderful. To what? Stir atoms inside my diamond counterclockwise and lit up my dark diamond void with stars. And then I went to my star home. Well, that is just absolutely beautiful. So whatever each of us needed within that space is actually created. Did you find the light code easy enough to access, sort of when the treasure chest was opened? Just a quick question before we go. How did you guys experience that? No? Okay. All right, everyone. I'm going to say thank you for being here, for sharing, for bringing your beautiful, beautiful energy to share, to be in the grids. It just feels really, really peaceful at the moment, which is a good place to be after the hecticness and some of the vivid craziness of the last couple of weeks. So thank you all so much for being here. I see we lost you for a few moments there, and you're back. Oh, we've got here. Sorry, thank you for the resonant transfer of the light code. It was the waveform that Cynthia had there. We've got Elaine at the end. The light code entered my solar plexus and did frequency upgrades. Beautiful. Now high pitched tone in both ears. Very interesting. Um, Cynthia said it was the waveform that repatterned, magical and calm. Beautiful. Well, work with it. You've now got it there. And if you guys would like your own copies of the new resurrected light code cards, then have a look at the website. They will be ready for shipping in the next day or so. So I'm really, really excited to have the new light codes to support us as we move forward into 2018. That's going to be very, very powerful. Thank you all. Oh, Anne had connection problems. Love to everybody. Yeah, thank you all. It just feels really peaceful and really lovely at the moment. So I so appreciate you. I love you all dearly, and thank you, as always, for being part of the Diamond community. Until the 21st, enjoy, and I hope that you see lots of manifestation in magical ways, and in beautiful ways and supportive ways in your lives. Lots of love.